This is the older Casio Edifice Automatic and this is the new one. At first glance, they look very similar. Same Edifice identity, same integrated bracelet style, and same clean everyday look. But once you put them side by side, you realize Casio has changed more than just the dial colors. The case is smaller, the watch is slimmer, and the date window has moved, and even the movement inside is different. So today, we're answering one simple question. Is the new Casio Edifice Automatic actually worth the upgrade? But before we get into the watches, let me introduce myself quickly. I'm Taher, Managing Director here at MonaWatch. You've probably seen me before on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Facebook, where we've been creating short-form watch content over the past year. But now I felt it was time to sit down properly and talk about watches in more detail. Because short videos are great, but some watches deserve more than 30 seconds. And for me personally, watches have never been just products. I've been interested in watches since I was a child because this was my grandfather's business and I grew up watching him. He has always been an inspiration for me, and over the years, that interest turned into collecting watches and understanding what makes certain watches special. So if you enjoy practical watch discussions from someone who handles these watches every day, subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is the first proper long form video and there's a lot more coming. Now let's talk about these Casio Edifice Automatics. The reason this watch was interesting is because Casio is not the first brand most people think of when they hear automatic watch. When you think Casio, you probably think of a G-Shock or a digital watch that gives you extremely good value. So when Casio finally released their first automatic watch after dominating the digital and quartz space for more than 50 years, people noticed. Not because the watch was extremely complicated, but because it was a proper automatic watch from Casio under the Edifice line with a design that actually looked premium. It had a stainless steel case and bracelet, sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, a see-through case back, and a mechanical movement inside. It was practical, it was sporty, it was clean, and it made sense for the price. At my store MonaWatch, we also saw people become genuinely curious about it because automatic Casio Edifice was not something people were used to hearing. Now let's compare the old version and the new one properly. The old watch was called the EFK-100D and had a 39mm case. The newer version is called the EFK-110D and it is now 38mm in size. 1mm may not sound like much, but on an integrated bracelet, it changes the wrist presence a lot. The older version was not too big, but visually it had a slightly more elongated feel. And I think one of the biggest reasons for that was the date window. On the older model, the date was at 6 o'clock. On the new one, Casio moved it to 3 o'clock. Usually, a 6 o'clock date can look very balanced, but on this specific Edifice, I actually prefer the new layout. The dial now feels more rounded, cleaner, and more natural on the wrist. The older one had a slightly more vertical look from a distance. The new one feels more compact and better proportioned. And I think this also fits where the watch industry is going right now because smaller and more wearable watches are becoming more popular again. Even at Watches and Wonders 2026 in Geneva, we saw brands moving towards more wearable case sizes. Grand Seiko, for an example, also announced a smaller case size for one of their dive watches, which is something that we never really have seen from them in that category before. So Casio did not just randomly string the watch. They made it fit better with what buyers are looking for today. Now the most interesting change is inside the watch. The older Edifice Automatic used the Seiko NH35 movement, and the NH35 is one of the most trusted automatic movements in affordable watches. It is reliable, common, easy to service, and watch enthusiasts know it very well. It is also very popular with smaller and newer watch brands that want to start building automatics. A good example is Pagani Design. One of the reasons that brand got so much attention early on was because many of their watches used the Seiko NH35 movement, which gave buyers confidence because it was already a movement people trusted. But in the new EFK-110, Casio has moved to a Japanese-made automatic movement that is widely reported to be the Miyota 8215. At first, some people may ask, why move away from the NH35? But personally, I think this was a very smart decision because when Casio used the NH35, a lot of the conversation became it is a Casio with a Seiko movement. And while that is not a bad thing, Seiko has such a strong identity in automatic watches that the movement almost started stealing attention away from the watch itself. By moving to the Miyota, Casio gives the Edifice Automatic line a little more independence. It feels less like Casio borrowing from Seiko and more like Casio building its own space in affordable mechanical watches. I mean, there's also a practical benefit. The new watch is slimmer than the old one, moving from around 12.5mm to 11.8mm. That difference sounds small, but on the wrist again, it helps the watch feel more refined, easier under the cuff and better for daily use. So the movement change is not just a technical change, it affects the character of the watch. Another small but interesting change is the color lineup. The older steel Edifice Automatic came in blue, green, and white, with a black forged carbon version sitting separately. With the EFK-110D, Casio has gone with black, blue, and white. So the green dial is gone, and honestly, I understand why. From our experience at MonaWatch, whenever we restock the older Edifice automatics, the green dial usually moves slower than the other colors. It was not a bad looking watch. In fact, it was probably the most unique color in the lineup, but black, blue, and white are safer, easier to wear, and appeal to more people. So this feels like Casio looking at demand and adjusting the lineup accordingly. So is the new Casio Edifice automatic watch worth the upgrade? Here's my honest answer. If you already own the EFK-100D, I don't think you need to immediately sell it and buy the new one. The older version is still a very good watch, and it will always have a special place because it was the first automatic Edifice that really got people talking. But if you're buying your first Casio Edifice automatic today, I would personally choose the new EFK-110D. It wears better, it looks more balanced, the dial feels cleaner, and overall it feels like the more refined version of the same idea. It is not a dramatic upgrade. Casio did not reinvent the watch, but they improved the details that matter when you actually wear it. So for me, the older one was the important first step, but the new one is the better everyday watch. I would personally go for the white dial out of the three colors, but let me know in the comments which one do you prefer and why. So that is my take on the new Casio Edifice automatic. I think Casio is slowly proving that Edifice does not have to be only about quartz chronographs and sporty designs. There is clearly space for automatic watches in the Edifice lineup, and if Casio keeps improving this collection, these watches could become very interesting for people who want affordable mechanical watches from a brand they already trust. Now, because this is our first proper YouTube video, I also want to give something back to everyone who watched this video till the end. Use the discount code showed on screen right now to get an extra 7% off these Casio Edifice automatic watches at MonaWatch.com. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've been doing short form content for a while, but now we're going deeper into watch reviews, comparison, buying guides, and honest opinions just like this. Like this video if it helped you, and comment below which watch you want me to cover next. This was Taher from MonaWatch. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.